Hello everybody, welcome to the channel. So my name is Luben. If you are new to the channel, subscribe, hit the like button, turn on the notification bell so that whenever I release a content like this, you can follow. And just a quick appreciation for the communities who are having at the moment, the people who have subscribed so far. We'll just keep building the channel as much as we can. And also what I'll be doing is I would leave my email as long as my Twitter handle in the description, so that whenever someone has a private question or something they want to ask that is private, not what they will discuss in the comment section, yes, you can just go ahead and send that to my email or my Twitter handle, and I will definitely reply, and then we can discuss from there. So like I Yeah, so how you doing today? Any part of the world you are watching this video, I just hope you are fine, and I just hope you are doing okay. So from today's video, what I want to talk about is the idea that who tends to be the sex determinant in terms of the child, whether it's from the father or it's from the mother. And if you would agree with me that in some other traditions and other parts of the world, it's common where most people believe that that problem usually comes from the father, and most people even believe that the person who is the sex determinant is usually the mother. Whichever misconception people have, it mostly tends to the woman, which is not really the case out here. So that's what I want to discuss about. So first things first, you need to understand what happens at the early stage before a baby is being formed. Now, this has to do with a lot of processes, but I'll just summarize them. So first things first, what happens is fertilization, right? And for fertilization to occur, therefore means the mother has to contribute something, and the father to contribute something. And these two things will come together to form a baby, or to form a zygote, form an embryo. So during fertilization, what happens is sexual intercourse. There could other be forms of fertilization, where the sperm can be taken independently from the man and used to fertilize the egg. But I'm not into that. So during sexual intercourse, right, when the sperm are being deposited into the woman's genitalia, as the vagina, the sperm will swim up to the oviduct, or let's say the fallopian tube. Fallopian tube is more like a passageway whereby fertilization occurs, because the ovaries releases an egg every month, at least one egg every month. So this egg will be collected by some finger-like projections that normally sweep on the ovaries and collect these eggs, and then it stays in the oviduct or the fallopian tube for just a number of days. So why is it staying there? It is actually staying there just in case there's an egg that wants to fertilize it. So what the body was programmed in that way, that it will stay there for some time. So if an egg, a sperm, comes in to fertilize it, and then fertilization will take place. So these sperm that swim up to this egg, it is not all of them that eventually fertilize this egg. It's just one. Sometimes situations will happen that it could be two, it could be three, where you have twins, triplets, and all of that. Or sometimes it could even be that one fertilized egg can actually divide into two separate embryos where you have identical twins and all of that. So it could happen like that. But let's just say, for the sake of the video, a sperm swims to the egg, right? And then it fertilizes the egg. Just one sperm that can do that at a time. Because when that happens, the egg kind of blocks other sperms from fertilizing. So now let's talk about the inner genetic part of this fertilization. And mind you, if fertilization does not occur, if an egg is released and it does not fertilize, it will further degenerate and come out as menstrual flow through the uterus and all of that. So, but I'll not get into that. So the genetic view, the genetic explanation is each of these egg, or each of these cells, that the egg and the sperm has 23 chromosomes. So chromosomes, basically, someone will ask what are chromosomes. I'll just give an illustration. If you have a bag, let's say you want to travel somewhere at a far distance, right? And then you have a lot of things you want to carry along. Let's say you have some clothes, some accessories, some shoes and all of that you want to carry. There's usually a bag that you put all of these things inside and you carry. You cannot actually carry them on your hands because there will be too much. So you need a bag that will carry all of this, and then comfortably you can travel with these things without them being destroyed or whatever, or being faced to harm. It's the same thing that happens with chromosomes. So chromosomes, what they do carry is genes. So these genes are more like proteins that codes for the human genetic makeup. Everything that's been developed from your body comes from this coding. So without these genes, it will be difficult for your body to produce anything, because the genes code the message or code the instruction or how the body can produce these things. So on this chromosome, the female egg has 23 chromosomes, and then the male also has 23 pairs of chromosomes. Now, on the egg, the distinctive chromosome there, that's the one that is making it differential or different from other chromosomes. It has an XX. That's the 23rd, right? It has 22 autosomes. Autosomes are just chromosomes that look alike. They are the same. So the 23rd now, the 23rd is an X. Then when you come to sperms, sperms have the ability to carry a Y on the 23rd chromosome. So let's say they had also have 22 autosomes. Autosomes are like chromosomes that are alike, right? So on the sperm you have 22 autosomes. That's X, 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 X. But then the 23rd is a Y. And it's only the sperm that can carry a Y gene. Now mind you, it's not all sperms that carry a Y gene on their chromosomes, right? There are some sperms that carry X. So that's why some people are born being female. Genetically, they are female and then some are male. Because if every sperm were to carry a Y gene, then it means everybody will be male, which is not possible. Reproduction will be difficult. So some sperms carry an X, some sperms carry a Y. So now when this fertilization occurs, the egg is bringing 23 chromosomes. The sperm is bringing 23 chromosomes. Now, if the sperm that fertilizes the eggs happens to carry a Y gene, the 23rd chromosome happens to carry a Y gene, then genetically that embryo will become a male. But then if the 23rd is carrying an X gene, then you know that genetically that embryo is going to be a female. So basically saying is, the sperms are the one that will determine which will be male and female. So sometimes you could be lucky that, okay, if it was the sperm that carries the Y chromosome that reached the egg first and was able to fertilize it. Or sometimes it could be the one that carried an X that reached to the egg first to fertilize it. Because the egg is always carrying an X. To the third chromosome, all egg cells, every single egg being released by the ovary carries an X gene on that 23rd chromosome. All of them don't carry that. It's only the sperm that has the ability to carry a Y. So whenever it carries a Y and it fertilizes the egg, you know that genetically going to be a male, because the 23rd of the egg is X, the 23rd of the male is Y. So if the whole addition, that if you have like 46, then you know you're going to have the 46th pair is going to be XY. Because 23 plus 22 will give you 46. And that's why fertilization comes into play. Because for the whole embryo or a zygote or whatever organism to be complete, it means the genetic makeup or the genes or the chromosomes have to be complete. So when the egg fertilizes, that's why it brings half. Because imagine this. Imagine if the sperm was to bring 46 and the egg was also to bring 46. It would be difficult for an individual to be formed, because now when cell division occurs, the cell might even rupture. The chromosome number will be too much that the cell could not be able to contain it. So maybe it will not be possible. That's why God amazingly created it that way, that the egg will bring 23 chromosomes, the sperm will bring 23 chromosomes, making it 46. So the sperm is the sex determinant here. So if it carries a Y chromosome, that is the 23rd pair is Y, then if it fertilizes the egg, it will become an XY. So that genetically that embryo becomes a male. But then if the sperm here, the 23rd chromosome, is carrying an X gene, then when fertilization occurs, then definitely you know that it's going to be female, because the egg from the female is always carrying an X gene on the 23rd chromosome. It's always carrying that. All X cells carry XX. It's usually X cells, right? So now, there could also be abnormalities, because now when you talk about the normal way of fertilization occurring, you could also look at how abnormalities could also result. Now some of these abnormalities could be trisomies, monosomies. Now for the term, I will write the term down probably in the description and explain the meaning of it. So monosomies is actually a situation whereby the total number of chromosomes is not enough or is missing. Okay, so let's say instead of having 46, you have 45. Instead of having 45, But just if there's a shortage in number of chromosomes, then trisomy is actually a situation whereby there's an addition of chromosome number to the one that has already been. So instead of having 46, we have like 47 or 48. That's trisomy. So monosomy is when you have like 45 or 44. That's monosomy, right? And this could result from many influenced factors. It could be maybe an alteration in the genetic makeup. It could be history of that particular generation. It could also be some environmental factors being involved. It could also be maybe the physiological aspect of the male or the female. It could also be the age variation of the female. Basically saying women who are like 35 above are prone to have more risk of birth defect when they get pregnant. The chances of having a birth defect keep increasing from 35 above. But you could still be surprised that some women who are at 40 could also give birth without their child coming out with any birth defect. But in general, let's say the chances increase. Let's say if you have like 500 babies, then the chances might increase from 1 in 500 to 2 in 100. Chances could be like that. So that's just to tell you the factors that could also result to it. And there's another syndrome known as Klinefelter syndrome. And this syndrome actually occurs when you have, it's more like a monosomy, but sometimes it's characterized as a trisomy. So instead of having 46, right, an individual could have 45 XXY. So now there's 45 number of chromosomes and then 3 extra chromosomes which are XXY. Now that person might possibly be like a male and be like a female. The appearance will definitely be that of a female, but then they will not be able to menstruate, or their ovaries might not be good enough for menstruation. These are abnormalities. And I could also have situations where there could be a deletion in the chromosome number or non-disjunction. Some of these factors could also result to the baby coming out looking like a male while they are actually female, or sometimes possessing the sexual characteristics or the secondary characteristics of a male, but then actually being female. You see that a lot. There's another syndrome known as Angelman syndrome, whereby the person, the voice is that of a cat, and then the characteristics of that person tends to shift more to, not being human and some of those things. These are abnormalities that happen genetically. So like I said, some of these abnormalities might be caused by many other related factors. But in terms of a normal cell, a normal sperm, a normal egg being fertilized, then you know that the sex determinant there basically is come from the male. Now there's a myth though. Yeah, there's a myth that it says the sperms that carry the Y chromosomes are sluggish in nature. They don't swim to the egg faster. Meanwhile, the ones that carry an X chromosome are the ones that swim faster to the egg. It's just a myth. It's not like scientifically proven. But to some people, yeah, they strongly believe in it, and they've said it worked so much that for them to target when the Y chromosome will fertilize it, they usually tends to have that sexual intercourse during the ovulation day. Let's say like a day after the ovulation day, or 1 to 2 days before the ovulation day. So they have sex on that day, and then possibly the egg might fertilize. Or even on the ovulation day, they tend to have sexual intercourse on that, the couples basically, so that the Y chromosome sperm carrying the carrier can actually fertilize the egg. But this is a myth. So it could be true, it could not be true, but I don't have enough facts to actually stand strong on it. So basically that. So the idea or the whole narrative that comes from whether, if you go to other areas of the world, right, you discover that some women who can mother male children are being criticized and are being told that they have a problem, or they are the ones who are the problem. They are eating the children in their womb, eating the male child and all of that. Yes, it's common. From where I come from, that kind of narrative is common, and that kind of belief or superstition, people believe it. And it tends to be more like it's the women who are the problem. Sometimes it's not usually the woman, right? It could also be the man who have a low sperm count, or his sperms are not matured enough to fertilize the egg. This has to do with infertility too, but we're not going into infertility. So basically, the main focus on this video is of who determines the sex of a gender. It is the male. Now, from the early development of an embryo, from first to sixth week, you will notice that the embryos are descent. Whether it's going to be male or whether it's going to be female, they are descent. So why is it that the body automatically knows that, okay, this is going to be a male, and then automatically produces the embryo to become a male? So on that same Y gene, there's a component there known as the SRY. It is sex-determining region on the Y gene. It is only the Y chromosome, the chromosome that carry a Y gene, that has that particular trigger or that particular activator. So what will happen is it will send the instructions to the genetic makeup. It's kind of like send a command that this is going to be a male. So in terms of being a male, this is how a male should look like. This is how the physical appearance, this is the phenotype, that's physical appearance of a male. This is how the genitalia should be positioned. This is how a male's genitalia look like. This is how it should be produced. These are how the secondary characteristics will be produced later. All of this is being coded, but it's being commanded by that SRY gene on the Y chromosome. So it's very, very important. So you could realize that without that particular Y gene, it will be difficult for that embryo to become a male, in as much as it could be XY, because in some abnormalities you will discover that that SRY could be missing in some Y gene. If that's missing, then the person might come out being a male, but then maybe internally they are female. It happens like that, but these are basically abnormalities, and we're not dealing with abnormalities. It's just to clear the whole smoke or idea that women are the problems in terms of sex determining of a child. It's not the woman. The woman produces an XX chromosome kind of cell. They don't have anything to do with the Y. So it's the male, right? So thank you so much for watching. I will leave my email, just like I've said in the opening section of this video. I'll leave my email and also my Twitter handle, so that if there's any question you want to privately discuss, you know, you might not want to say that in the comment section, you can as well send me a message on that and I'll make sure I reply. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button.